Alright guys, welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars review. Today we have set 40755, the Imperial Dropship versus Rebel Scout Speeder. This has 383 pieces and retails for $40, $39.99. As you guys can see from the box art, it is going to be a 25th anniversary. So as we can see here in the bottom left corner, we have the 25th anniversary minifigure, QT, and then this has got a pretty good of assortment of minifigures, as you can see in the bottom right. This actually is pretty much two battle packs from 2005, I believe it is, mashed together in one. The pictures will be on the screen, so it's a pretty cool 25th anniversary set for them to be doing. As you can see here on the back, the box art's pretty simple. It's just like a Tatooine display, kind of showing off the play accessibilities and accessories. It's pretty simple. This is kind of what we expected, just Tatooine box art. Very simple. I don't really think we've seen either of these in the movies. I think these are both from the Battlefront games, if I'm not mistaken. So these are pretty cool ships and vehicles to have again in 2024. First minifigure we're going to cover is hardly a minifigure at all. It's the Astromech Droid QT. This is a very niche minifigure. The Astromech Droid is from the Clone Wars, from the D Squad droids. D Squad probably standing for the Droid Squad, obviously. This is just a really cool one to have. If you've gotten any of the other 25th anniversary minifigures, they're all pretty like dark, I guess you could say. They all have darker colors. I mean, we've got characters like Saw Gerrera, Malik, Cal Kestis, pretty more serious toned minifigures. This one's a very fun and playful one. It's going to be really fun to get for kids, and it's a relatively cheaper minifigure to get and a cheaper set. I think this is going to be a lot of fan favorite, you can say. The print's pretty basic. This is kind of just a basic Astromech Droid. It is more Clone Wars style, which I appreciate because this is a character from the Clone Wars. I just think the printing is a little bit more animated compared to some of the other Astromech prints we've seen in the past. Nothing else really in the back, just some on the dome of the print. So yeah, overall, pretty fun 25th anniversary minifigure, and obviously the plaque does have the 25th anniversary logo as well. Then we have the Stormtroopers. I'm just going to do them all at once. The basic Stormtroopers. I think the Stormtroopers that we get today in 2024 are pretty much perfect. I love the helmet molds. I like the print on the bodies. They're just good. Stormtroopers are pretty basic. They've been doing them pretty much since they've been doing LEGO Star Wars from the beginning of time. The minifigures underneath do have some different skin tone. As you can see, they're not all the same underneath. I think the guy in the middle is just a dude, whereas the other two are chicks. So that's the only variation between any of them. They're all just the same otherwise. And then on the left, you can see the back art. Just, again, standard Stormtrooper printing. I like Stormtroopers. It's like one of the most basic things you can get today. I think they're great. There's nothing that needs to be improved in my eyes. Then we have the Rebel Troopers. I feel like we haven't gotten just a standard Rebel Trooper in a little bit. Obviously, we got him in the Yavin 4 set that we just got last year. But before that, it had been a long minute. So I'm glad we get more, because that $170 set had one. So if you wanted more Rebel Troopers, you had to spend a boatload of money. Now they're at a lot cheaper of a price. These are pretty much the same that we've seen like since 1999, essentially. These are very standard prints. I wish they would have a little bit of leg printing. I know it's pretty basic, but like, if I'm not mistaken, they all wear cargo pants. So just put like a pocket print on there. I just think it goes the extra mile. I don't know. I would prefer it. They do it for the Stormtroopers. They have a little bit of leg printing. I think it would look good for the Rebel Troopers. The helmets are the same. They have gray blasters instead of black. I don't know if that's canonically correct, but it probably is. Underneath, you can see they're not all the same skin tone or gender, so you have a bit of variation, which I absolutely appreciate in 2024. When you have the Rebel officers and they're all the same exact printed face, it looks a little goofy when you're building an army. You're like, wait a minute, is this the clone army? No, it's supposed to be the Rebel army, so you're supposed to have some variation, so I appreciate that with this. And then as well, if you take off the helmets, you can see they actually come with a double-sided face, so you can have a different emotion, different variation of the print on any of their faces. So I also appreciate that. So these little things I think are nice. I just think the leg printing would have been an extra addition. I don't think it was needed. I just think it would have made it a little bit better. Like the Stormtroopers, they have that extra leg printing that makes it go the extra mile for me. That would have been nice for these Rebel Troopers. So overall, I think they're pretty good. I just think the Stormtroopers are a little bit better, more detailing. I mean, that's all. Overall, they're good. They're just a Rebel Trooper, nothing to die over. First vehicle we're going to be doing is the Imperial Dropship. This is not the first time they've done it, I guess. This is like they've done a different variation every single time. This is the third Imperial Dropship that they've done, but each time I've done it, it's been a little bit different from the previous, like very different variation. For instance, this cockpit piece is way different compared to the last. This one's a lot more angular, a lot toner, which I think looks pretty sharp. I actually love the cockpit on this one. It's very straightforward. Open it. It's got seat for one. So as you can see, you can fit one in there pretty well. You can close it. I think it works perfectly. Nothing to die over again, but that nice sharp design looks really well. And then one of the big complaints I had with the last Imperial Dropship is the back piece that you could fit your troopers on was very loose. Like it just kind of fell off because it had a piece that you would latch up, whereas this one you just slide out. It has a piece that you connect inside there. You might not be able to see it very well, but you can. You can just kind of connect it in, you slide it in, and it just kind of holds in. And I think that works a lot better. But because of this design, they had to kind of reduce the size of it. And so now you can only fit two, whereas the previous one, you were able to fit 3 or 4 in the back there. So I think that is, kind of pick or choose what you would rather, a bigger, bulkier, but, not as structurally safe build, or a nice tighter and fitter build, but, again, not as big. So you got to pick and choose what you prefer on that one. And the same thing with this, you can fit the minifigures on there pretty easily. They just hang out there on the back. I like that they're facing out like this. I just think it looks pretty cool. Again, I don't think we see this anytime in the movies. I'm sure we see it in a couple different games, but I can't remember the time I saw this in a movie. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. I love the wing piece, the engine pieces on top. They rotate. They're pretty sleek. I don't really know what the point of that's for, but it's there. And then it does have the stud shooter, of course, as always. This one's really well hidden. The blasters would typically be right here, so I think it's not too bulky. It fits pretty well. And so you have the play design that works both from a design point. It blends in pretty well, and as a play accessibility, it works well as well. So I actually really like this dropship, but it's very different than its previous 2 builds. The next we have is the Rebel Scout Speeder. Again, this one I know for sure we haven't seen in a movie. This was in Battlefront 1, I believe. It may have been in Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront. It was in the later Battlefronts in 2015 and forward. But this is a fun build. I know a lot of people have been asking for this one. I just think this is a really good battle pack build. I know this isn't technically a battle pack, but it is in my eyes and for most fans' eyes. We'll get into the build here. Pretty straightforward. A lot of great sticker detailing, and I just like the brick detailing, especially back here. I don't know. I just had a lot of fun building this one. I would rip it apart, but I'm an idiot. So you have obviously the speeder part where you can just fit your 2 guys in there, pretty straightforward. You can fit them in there with the blaster, as you can see. So that's nice. I don't know how many people actually care about that, but that is nice to have. It looks pretty slick. It's not too cramped. I like the way it looks. And then on top, I always hate when Lego does this. You only see it a couple times in actual canon where they're sitting in an open cannon like this. It doesn't really happen very often. Usually there's some sort of enclosure. This one just looks, I don't know, out of place. I just think he looks too big for the actual cannon on top. He looks like he's just like sitting on a baby lawn chair. I don't know. It just looks weird to me. I don't think it's too out of place, but personally for me, I'm never going to actually put a minifigure up there. I'm just going to pretend that's, an automatic weapon. I don't need to have a guy manually operating it. That's just my personal preference though. Then you have the stud shooters that kind of blend in. They stand out a little bit, but I think it works fine in that spot, especially because this is obviously supposed to be the cannon that it shoots from. They used a weird spear piece on the end. I don't really know what that's about. It kind of sticks out to me. I know it's kind of supposed to be what it looks like. It is a pointed end because it shoots like a laser beam. It's not like a typical cannon. But still, it looks kind of weird to me. I don't know. Maybe they didn't really have another option unless they were just going to make a whole new molded piece. Whatever. It is what it is. Not a bad build. Then we go to the back. The back's pretty straightforward. You have a little bit of thruster engine with this blue engine work back here. Pretty straightforward again. Overall, not bad for a speeder. It's very reminiscent of Luke's land speeder, or pretty much any land speeder in general from Star Wars. But again, I know this is a pretty big fan favorite because of those Battlefront games. So with that, we come to the end of this review. It's a pretty good set overall. I don't know. This set doesn't feel like it should be $40. But if you keep in mind every other set that's come out in 2024, it's pretty fitting, to be honest. I feel like every set is way too expensive in 2024. This had come out 2 years before, in 2022, 2021, even last year in 2023. I would have said this set really isn't that great because it's too expensive. $40. This is a battle pack set that should have been $30. I mean, you look at the 501st Battle Pack, it's not much bigger than this. It's not much smaller than this. It's around the same size. So with all those things being said, you want to give it a lower score, but again, in 2024, this seems like a pretty fair price, which I hate, because this isn't, who wants to pay $40 for a Battle Pack set? No one that I know, right? But with all those things being said, I think I'm going to give this set an 8 out of 10. This is one of the better sets of 2024. There's just really nothing wrong with it. It's a really great army builder. You have a really cool, unique 25th anniversary minifigure. I just really like this set overall. And the fact that it's a 25th anniversary and they kind of did a nod, a prelude to some of the earliest battle packs they ever did and combined it into one, I think is really special and unique. I really do enjoy this set. I would say it's worth buying. If you find it for $40, at least buy one of them before you never can. If you want to buy multiple, I would wait until you get some on sale, but definitely get your hands on one of these before it's too late. So with all of that, let us know what you guys think down in the comments. If you guys agree, disagree, if you guys like this set or didn't. And with that, we hope you guys did enjoy this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.